Good day, YouTube. I've had many requests to explain my hand controls. I would like to show every detailed step, but filming it all is just too tedious. So I make hand controls basically out of outrigger parts. We use outriggers in disabled skiing. They come with these fun little welded handles, and when you're done bending them from skiing and breaking them, you can repurpose them for many different things. This is going to be the pull the chair in the vehicle, and this piece here is to pull the door shut. Anyway, multi-use for these things, and like I said, the parts come from outriggers. Here's another. This outrigger's actually, anyway, mostly relevant. The hand control that I just made, or started to make, is, again, this is an outrigger part, trimmed. Before I put it on here, I glued it. This is glued with clear epoxy, and once it was glued, I drilled these holes and added these bolts. I have these bolts here for many different purposes. This is where I put the bungee cord so that the hand control has a springy twist and always returns to the same place out of the way. This is actually not even a hand control, not even just regular aluminum like this. It's actually an old wind chime. It's still T6, T61, and this fits in there too, but even more loosely than in this is slightly a thinner material than there's more of a tight fit in here, and I want a loose fit because I never want, see, like this, I never want the metal to bind ever, and the non-binding of the metal is why I add this, in this case, a Delrin washer that I made myself out of a nice piece of Delrin. Doesn't look like much, but it's an important part of this hand control. I cut it like this so that I could hold it with a clamp and drill the hole. Pretty hard to do to get a hole drilled. I did it all with this. I haven't seen these around for years. This is something I bought in Home Depot maybe in the 80s or 90s. You can get something like this from Harbor Freight, and with a lot of modification I could have made these guys go in tight enough to drill out for this diameter tube, which in fact is, as it says right here, it is 6061 T6 0.875 outer diameter, as it says here. 0.875, quite dyslexic, sorry. OD, which stands for outer diameter, with a 0.65 wall. All right. This is the tubing that they make the bottom of outriggers out of. It's also great tubing for this particular hand control. So this I actually made myself, and I drilled these holes that are for the adjustment of the length of the hand control, say if you were to use it in a different car. These lengths don't change much, but hey, with this you can adjust how long this total length is going to be from hand control to brake. This is the piece that is going to be used for the brake. I said these screws, these bolts have multiple purposes. Yeah, like they're designed to trap a piece of bungee cord by making the bungee cord snap in there with this exact space that I left. Well, it's not that exact, but it's exact enough to trap the bungee cord. Anyway, when this gets made, there's going to be a piece of rope that goes from around this bolt to around this bolt to make sure this never happens. It never would, but just to keep it together. Now this washer's purpose is to make sure this aluminum doesn't get hammered out by pushing, because it's aluminum against plastic, and with enough wear, if this was against metal, it would eventually wall up and maybe prevent the smooth functioning. This is a wheelchair clamp. They're used to wheelchair brake clamp. They're used to hold brakes. They're a great thing if you want to hold anything. Anything that's like a 3/4 inch tube. Really strongly near 1 inch tube. So this would go in here, and this distance is kind of the distance from the gas to the brake. And as you know, my method for the gas is a string. So anyway, so this is some leather that I sewed. All the stitches on the machine, and then I punch these holes out and did a little sewing. The foam under here was glued on. I used this kind of foam here that I use on everything. It's a super lightweight, 1/2 inch foam. I use it just about for everything. It's designed for flooring. It's guaranteed non-toxic, even though I think this stuff is made in China. Here's another example of the same thing. Like I said, use this stuff for almost anything. Some nice leather. Just anyway, these are the basic parts of the hand control. I mean, please don't ask me where I got these nylon spacers. Everything comes from K's Surplus in San Diego. All this hardware. These are all grade 8 bolts, military surplus. You can get yours at Home Depot. Another thing I used from Home Depot here is the stainless steel screw. This is what's anchoring the pulley into the floor of the car. I just twisted this open with the pulley that was in here went in that hole, and that screw went into the bottom of the car to pull on the accelerator. That's the rest of the setup. Now you can, like I said, these clamps, wheelchair brake clamps, I got tons of these. Some of these have this ridging inside. If you have this, you're not going to get, no matter how much you torque on these, you're probably not going to get good purchase because of the way these are. It's ironic, but they're kind of designed to mirror up on, like if it doesn't have the same ridging, just the ridges don't provide enough friction apparently to be used the way I use this. Okay, so this hand control is not for everybody. If you don't understand how to safely do this and install it in your car with reasonable safety, just please don't do it, because this can be extremely safe and secure. The other ones I built like this, I've had in a Honda Odyssey. I installed them in 2010. To this day, they are doing great with no signs of wear. And I'll go take a look at those sometime soon.